Hi, Siva. Hi.
Well, good evening, all. It's glad to hear a lot of people joined us in this group. I got some, I don't want to talk too long, like others said, but I just got some pointers to actually pass on. Obviously, we need to share the ideas. A lot of people got ideas, but obviously, we need a platform to share it so that people can take it away and then either individually or join with another group, they can do it. But anyway, my main message ought to be really reducing waste in the first place. We need to give priority, and also consuming less at the same time. I think the VIP idea is a very good one. Again, I didn't realize there was something going on. So I think to me coming through is, even though we are going around and meeting different groups, we don't always get to hear everything that is going on. So that is, I think, is not serving us properly at the moment. The other one, in terms of giving everybody some ideas, how we can save energy at home. I mean, if we got experts on the panel, and again, telling what to buy, even if you to change the bulbs and things like that, how to go about it. Because we hear about it, but not everybody knows how to go about and changing it. So sometimes it's a practical help is actually important. The other one, like somebody said, buying local. That's another thing we need to really promote. And then the advantage and disadvantage of buying local. Obviously, buying local, we stop people importing, and we talk about this mileage as well that one time. The other one is, I'm going to use this word, influencing behavior, but again, by example rather than top-down instruction or anything like that. But by people sharing ideas, people will actually pick up and then learn to adapt that kind of idea. So it's a subtle way of changing people's thinking and attitude and behavior. And the other one is also important to me, measurable outcomes. I think that then we can get a lot of people on it. We talk about, say zero waste even, right? And then how are we going to measure it, exactly what we achieved in terms of, Rwanda against plastic. Okay, how are we going to measure it? So I think that's another thing we got to really get, so come up with some ideas of actually saying, look, by doing this, we have achieved so much. Somebody need to put some money against it, or even a supermarket to come on and say, hang on, ever since we had this project going, we have actually saved money not buying plastic bags or something like that. So we can turn our action into pounds and pence, and then it's a long way to go. Anyway, the other one, obviously, the publicity of all the ideas. The other one, the last one I'm going to say and leave it. Also, we need to come up with ideas and the things we want people with big business, even local authorities to take on board on our behalf, because we can only do so much as a community, but there may be other things which we need the council, even the government, and the other big organization to get involved. So again, coming up with ideas and then passing it up the line for others to take it on, and then for the good of everybody. I leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Siva. That's fantastic. You make some really important points there. I think the measurable outcomes is a really, really strong point there. But we need to think, maybe, how do we measure those outcomes? Maybe it's money, maybe it's carbon, maybe it's something else altogether. So I do think, when we're looking at the actions of this group and what we do, we think about that as well. So I think that's some really good points there. Peter Crabb, you've been waiting.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, hi.
I've just got a couple of quick points to raise in response to what previous speakers have said. Firstly, I was very interested to hear from Naomi Bradley about the Refiner Against Plastic organisation. I've never heard of that. I'm actually in Heathrow. But one of the things I did a couple of years ago, I'm going to show something on the screen now, is purchase a pack of, much bigger than that it was, about 1,000 or more paper bags to replace plastic. So, I've even educated my wife about it, to use them for making sandwiches and things like that. Now, I'm not suggesting that these sorts of things should be made available, at the places where you can get your green recycling bags and stuff like that. But I would have thought that something could be done like that. They're better than the ones you see in places like Morrison's, where you put your loose fruit and vegetables in. I just think that something like that could take off. And then secondly, I was very interested in what Martine said about people thinking about recycling stuff. Should they dispose of what they're doing? Maybe they can offer it to other people. And it strikes me that my wife and I watch regularly every afternoon a program called Money for Nothing, which shows people going to recycling centres. Often it seems to me, and I've seen this in practice, disposing of things which are actually reusable. I mean, 4 chairs that could be recycled to British Heart Foundation or somebody else. And I think that's a question of education to make sure it gets across at the recycling centres we still have. We've only got one now, to say to somebody, without being in any way too questioning, do you need to get rid of that? I mean, is there somewhere else it could go? Something like that. That's me done.
Thank you. Thanks very much. So, some fantastic ideas there. That's really good. I think we've got time for. We need to be wrapping up shortly. But Alice, your hand is up in the chat, in the participant box.
Yeah, I was just thinking about a couple of things that people said about getting people who weren't necessarily thinking about climate change involved. And a while ago, I went to an eco fair I think it was in Ramney. I was thinking, obviously, post-COVID, but something like that, which people could go and would be quite fun, but would have stalls where they might be things that haven't crossed their mind, things like cloth nappies and things like that. They could find out about them that they might just not know about.
Absolutely. I think that you make some really good points, and I think that thread is coming through from all of you, and I think I feel very strongly about that this shouldn't be a group for kind of people who are making those changes anyway, and this needs to be reaching out to those people who wouldn't think about this and maybe don't have the resources or money available, because let's be real, it's quite expensive to shop in those shops that are fantastic, absolutely brilliant, but sometimes things are slightly more expensive if you want to shop environmentally or live a really sustainable lifestyle. It's not so easy. So we need to think about ways to make it cheaper and easier and more equitable. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually just let you, I mean, at the moment, we've had such a brilliant discussion here, lots of ideas. I know, I'm talking a lot in this meeting. I don't want to be talking a lot in future meetings. This is Cardiff North's top priority. And what we want to do is be reaching out, engaging, but all of you feeling empowered to do that. Sorry, I've just lost you on the page. Let me just get it back. What we need to do, I think, moving forward, and I'd be grateful for your responses on this, but we need to find volunteers amongst you to help drive this team forward. Look at where we can find more information, make sure we keep in touch. Some really excellent ideas shared here tonight. And I'm conscious that we're nearing 8 o'clock. So what I want to do now is just explain, there were lots of large scale policy issues highlighted to me. And I know some of them have been put in the chat box during the meeting, and before the meeting, people raised a lot with me. And I want to assure you, as the MP for Cardiff North, I'm more than happy to work with you. And of course, continue to campaign on many of these issues, both locally and in Parliament. For the eco team, it's really important now to focus on individual, collective behavioural changes and make a massive difference. So what we want to do now is get this team up and running. We need a core group of people who can spare time and energy in helping drive this forward and getting stuck in. And I think you've shown tonight that you're really, really keen to do it and you're full of ideas. So what we want now, we've got thought of some collective asks for you, if you don't mind. So what we want now is to reach out to you and any expertise you may have, digital support, for example. So there we go. Collective ask. An audit of existing community groups. So we talked about what's around, what exists already. We don't want to overlap, and we don't want to replicate what's already there. So we need people to volunteer and send in a lists things of existing community groups, campaign groups, whatever it is, those initiatives that are already going. So I'd like you all, if you don't mind, this is a bit of homework for you. Take away and think about what's around your local area, where you live, what exists already. Do a quick audit. What is there existing already? And email that in to me if you can. And my email should be shared in the chat box there. There we go. It'll be shared in a minute. Second ask is, can you volunteer your time and your skills? So think about how much time you really have available. How much time can you spare? Can you spare, an hour a week on this? Half an hour a week? Can you spare, a couple of hours a month? Have a think, how much time, or a day a week, a day a month? Have a think, how much time do you have available and would you like to put towards this? And with that, what skills do you have? That could be graphic design skills. It could be gardening skills. It could be digital skills, because I think you've seen we're grappling with the virtual of the nature of this. It could be any of that. It could be expertise in this area. It could be expertise in anything else, in marketing, in anything. So please do a little audit of yourself and send those in. And thirdly, most importantly, spread the word. This is about reaching out, creating this big network to work together, come together with those ideas and make it happen.